Good morning, everybody. We have a mixed trade in the grain markets here early on Thursday morning. It is 6:30 a.m. Central Time. July corn futures up 3.5 cents at 6.28. December corn is up 5.25 or 5.5 now at 5.26 1/4. July soybeans down 3 3/4 at 14.99 3/4. November beans down 2 cents at 13.45. July Chicago wheat up 11 3/4 at 6.60 1/4. July Kansas City wheat up 10.5 at 6.09 1/4. July spring wheat up 11 3/4 at 6.92 1/2. If you guys are listening on the podcast, leave me a review or leave me a rating. That would really help me out in regard to the podcast, help Apple to kind of spread this stuff out a little bit. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm getting very close to that 2,000 subscriber mark. That's kind of been my goal here. Help me out. Hit that subscribe button if you have not already. And make sure you hit the like button. That would really help me out in regard to YouTube. If you need some additional assistance from me, go to my website. It is www.standardgrain.com. Go to that website, click on Grain Marketing Plan in the upper right-hand corner. For $49 a month, I offer a subscription service. It includes my morning email, which goes out every business day at 6:30 a.m. Central Time. It includes my text message service. It includes my subscriber-only videos and content. And in these subscriber-only videos, I really get into more depth in regard to cash grain marketing, things that I'm actually doing and recommending. I did a video yesterday that was sent out to subscribers just regarding new crop corn and soybean marketing, where we stand, what we've done recently, what the outlook is moving forward. So if you're interested in some more in-depth stuff, if you're interested in some assistance with your grain marketing, I'd be happy to help. And that service is available again. $49 a month, built to your credit card, cancel at absolutely any time. No other fees, no other obligations whatsoever. Let's get into the headlines here this morning. There was all sorts of chatter about this China corn situation yesterday. China canceled corn. China may cancel some corn, whatever. Let's talk about that here for a second. So this entire deal is based on a Bloomberg story that appeared yesterday. There is absolutely nothing official here yet. Nothing from USDA. There have been no cancellations confirmed. Bloomberg reported that there are essentially imminent cancellations of U.S. corn purchases because the country believes that overseas purchases have spiraled out of control. According to the article, Chinese customs may restrict imports into free trade zones. Now, when you get into that all sounds really terrifying, right? But when you get into the details here, the article goes on to say, total corn cancellations, however, are expected to be less than 1 million metric tons. That's 39 million bushels. When you put that in perspective, China has nearly 23 million metric tons of old crop U.S. corn on the books, a great deal of which has already been shipped. So the cancellations being discussed, if it's 1 million metric tons, that would be 4% of China's old crop U.S. corn purchases and only about 1.5% of total export sales out of the U.S. to all destinations. So it's not a number in itself that is hugely consequential. Keep in mind that China has already booked more than 10 million metric tons of new crop U.S. corn. So this thing was, I think, overblown. None of this has been confirmed. This is all just chatter. And when these sort of stories appear and surface, and they're citing unnamed sources, yeah, sometimes they turn out to be reality, and we may very well see some cancellation surface here today or tomorrow. But this doesn't have to pan out. This could be absolutely nothing. There's, again, nothing official here. It's essentially one article that made the rounds yesterday and has kind of just circulated. It's been kind of a domino effect thing where now this is all anybody talked about here for 2 days. But I mean, grand scheme of things, if the article's correct, 1 million metric tons is not consequential really at all to the market. And maybe that's why we bounced back yesterday. We've got some rain pushing across the Corn Belt this morning. You've got a system moving across Nebraska, South Dakota, maybe some snow in North Dakota into Iowa. These were rains that were in the forecast, should come as no surprise. The 7-day precip map moving forward looks very wet for the southern plains, maybe Missouri, a little bit drier for the Corn Belt, but still some rain. 6 to 10-day map offers near normal precipitation for central and eastern areas of the Corn Belt, and then drier conditions than normal in the west. Ethanol production fell marginally last week, but still pretty good. Weekly output still the second best of the post-COVID era, behind only last week or the prior week. Weekly ethanol production 1.011 million barrels per day. That was down 2% on the week, down 4.4% versus the same week in 2019, which of course is our last pre-COVID year. Gasoline demand up 2.8% on the weekend, up 0.9% versus the same week in 2019. I believe this is the first time since COVID, essentially, that we're back to normal, essentially, in regard to gasoline demand. So that's a big deal. Now, when you look at ethanol stocks, they continue to decline. Ethanol stocks were down 2.3% on the week, below 19 million barrels. That's the lowest ethanol stocks number since December of 2016 and the lowest seasonally since 2014. So these low ethanol stocks and increased usage of ethanol it's all resulted in higher ethanol prices. Ethanol prices have shot up. 254 was the Chicago ethanol swap yesterday. Ethanol margins across the country for just about every plant, based on spot values, are positive to the tune of 20 cents a gallon or better, and significantly better in some areas. So ethanol here looking quite a bit better, and maybe we see a much better looking demand number for new crop in regard to ethanol if everything keeps moving in this direction. Port workers in Argentina have reached a deal. They will now be considered essential in regard to the government's COVID vaccine plan in Argentina. These strikes regarding lack of vaccines among port workers had been on and off for the last couple of weeks. Argentina is the largest exporter of soybean meal and the third largest exporter of corn. We've got a weekly export sales report out this morning. We should see a huge corn export sales number for new crop in particular, given recent Chinese flash sales. It's going to be 6-7 million metric tons, somewhere in that ballpark. It should be a very, very big number today. Cattle market was lower yesterday. Cash cattle, nothing new, 119 to 120, just scattered stuff. We'll see what develops here. Box beef marginally lower yesterday. In the outside markets, we've got the stocks mixed. The S&P's down 8. The Dow is up 12 points. Precious metals down just a little bit. Gold's down $7, back below 1900. We've got the U.S. dollar down just a little bit here. Crude oil is down 68 cents. And then July WTI at 65.53. Bonds off just a little bit. Everybody have a wonderful day today. I will talk to you same time tomorrow morning.